All right, I just want to make this little video about how to do grading. So this will have kind of how to do grading with Google Forms and how to, and then how to kind of do resubmits. So here's in Google Classroom. Google Classroom has this really great little tab here. If you click on the Google Classroom the three little bars there, you'll get this little drop-down menu, to review. You click on to review. Most of you probably already know all this, but I can see, what I've got graded and what I haven't. Now I see this one here. I know that this is one of my Google Forms. I see that one student's turned it in. I've already graded this assignment. So I've already graded this assignment, but one student resubmitted. So that's why I'm showing you this. So I just kind of right click on the one turned in. I do open a new tab, which will open this up right here. All right. Now, actually, so the student has resubmitted her work. I'm actually going to go in instructions and then click on student work. I forget why I do that. It might not be necessary. I'm going to click on this anyway. So just to show you, I just clicked on the Google form that's linked there. And because this is my form, there'll be a little pencil in the right-hand corner. So I created this form, or if you're a collaborator, you'll have this little pencil icon. Click on the pencil, which brings you into like the editor version of the form. Now from this part here, the questions tab, I can create new questions and stuff like that, but I'm not building this form, I'm grading it. So I want to go to responses. And here is where Google Forms, from my view, really shines, right? It's the responses tab. It's this kind of data that it gives me. There's my spread of the grades for this whole class. I get to see what the median is. I get to see what the average is. I get to see what the range is. I can see what each individual score is by 890 number. I get to see their responses. I get these charts and graphs determining, so I can see where students, what questions are getting right, what questions are getting wrong. Whenever I have a multiple choice, so whenever you see like a lot of different responses there, that's a question that I asked for short answers. So when I ask for a short answer response, I just get a list of all the short answer responses all together in the summary tab. When I ask a multiple choice question, I get a bar graph giving me an idea of, who picked what. All right, there's a short answer. So I'm just kind of letting you get an idea. And then this is where I really like this. This is my, my, what do you want to call it? An exit ticket, formative assessment, this kind of thing. I'm going to actually ask the students, how successful are you in meeting the specific learning target, right? And I get one student that said they're completely successful, 4 students that said they're mostly, one student that's kinda, and one student said they're not successful yet. I forget which day of the lesson is, but if this is early in the lesson, then I expect some not successfuls. That's fine, because it's a process of learning. Looks like they're doing let's see, they got 4 responses for mostly in the other one, and 4, all right, looks like it's pretty similar for the other learning target, calculating the periodic deposit investment. And then what's their effort? So 5 students are saying they gave it their very best effort. 1 student is saying, hey, I gave it a really good effort. And another student said, hey, I need to give it more effort next time. And I give them 1 point just to answer all of these. And they're actually pretty honest about it. In fact, sometimes I don't think they give themselves enough credit. And then I ask them, do you have any additional feedback? And they say, nope, yes, learning was useful. Okay, very good. All right, so this is the questions tab. So I just reviewed the summary tab. I'm going to skip the question tab because that's where the magic happened. This right here is where the magic happens. I'm going to go to the individual tab, just kind of show you what that looks like. I'm looking at response number 1. I don't know who this 890 number is, but because I asked the students the question of what your name, I can see what the name is. And then I can actually see an individual's response. So if I want to grade just one student's response, I can do that and grade one assignment at a time. But I do not recommend grading one assignment at a time, even like in this case, where I've already graded every student's response in this Google form, and there's one student that resubmitted. I'm actually going to grade by question. Because this allows me to see my feedback from other students, and it gives me an idea. So when I click on question, I'll see the first question here. I recommend that you make your first question of every Google form be their name. That just helps you track down who they are without having to look up 890 numbers later. You'll notice that my name's right there. Well, that's because, while I do the instruction for the class, I actually complete one of these Google forms to kind of show them how to do it. Right? So, all right. So how do I get to the next question? Well, I click this little arrow. There's one little possible arrow you can click over here, which will take me to question 2. The other alternative is at the very bottom. There's a little arrow that will take you to question 2. Either way works. All right, and this is where the magic happens, right? I have this problem, like, what is the monthly payment on a 10-year, 6.1% APR loan with a principal of $32,000? This is a short answer question, so they could respond with anything. I unfortunately, I wish I had, normally there would be, my answer key would be here, but it seems I didn't create an answer key for this one. My bad. Well, it's not necessary. I would just, if it was me, I would just pull up my calculator and find the answer for this, and then I'd check the student. So obviously, I already gave this student a 2 out of 2, so I know that this was probably the response I'm looking for. And the reason why I give them short answer, and why an answer key isn't always the best, is because with short answer, they can always, if they add a dollar sign to their answer, that's going to be yet a different answer. If they put a comma instead of a period, if I put in an answer key and have this thing automatically graded, that comma will make it so that they get a wrong, it won't give them credit because they had a comma instead of a period. And I don't like that kind of idea. So for instance, these two students are fine. I gave them 2 out of 2. To give the student full credit, you just press the green arrow. It gives them full credit. If you want to give them 0 credit, you press the 0. If you want to give them something in between, which is what I usually do, you can actually adjust the number. So I usually make most questions 2 points. That makes it really easy. I give them 1 point if they don't give me anything. And if they, I can give them partial credit from there, right? If you have even if it's a reasonable response, but it's just off by a little bit, maybe I can give you like a 1.5, or if it's a really not reasonable response, but you tried it, I can give them like a 1.2, like near a 65, something like that, per question. So I can give lots of partial credit. Once I have given my credit, I need to click this little save thing, which saves the grades I have for that question. So I'm literally grading one question at a time, seeing the entire class's response for one question at a time. So I asked this question here. So I actually moved over to question 3. I don't know if you saw me click that arrow. I'm on question 3 now. The student got full credit, right? I'm asking them, what's total monthly payment? Oh, that actually probably was my response in class, right? I was trying not to give them the actual numbers, but trying to set them up a formula. So the student didn't respond. They got 1 out of 2. This person, okay, so here's a situation where this student got very close. I don't want to give them the answer, so I told them what the monthly payment was. They're going to have to then multiply that monthly payment by how many monthly payments in the term of repayment. I'm giving them that feedback now. So this student, obviously 120, that's nowhere near what it should be, right? What's the total of all monthly payments on a 10-year loan of $32,000? So this number is not even reasonable, 120. Now, maybe there's 120 payments to be made. Maybe that's what they read. And so I would actually give them that feedback. I did give them that feedback, right? I said, this is the correct number of monthly payments, but the question asks for the total of all monthly payments, the total amount paid over the life of a loan. Okay, so then they gave them a 1.2, and that gives them, they obviously knew something here. They just didn't understand the question, or maybe I didn't phrase it well. I'm giving them some clarification and asking them to fix this and resubmit. So what I'm looking for here is I have a student who is resubmitted their work. So I'm looking for if there's any zeros, and that's actually why I like to give at least 50% credit even for a blank answer. That's because if a student gives me all blanks, then it's just a 50%, and then that lets me know that I've actually looked at it, right? If it's just 0, I don't know if I've looked at that 0 before or not. Let's see here. So what I can do is I can give them, feedback. I can click on this pencil to give feedback, and I can write whatever I want. And I can copy that feedback for the different wrong answers that have made similar mistakes, right? So each student is getting kind of an individualized feedback, but I don't have to rewrite the same thing over and over again. I can copy and paste things into the feedback. So I'm scanning. This person got 2 out of 2. This person got 1.9. It might be some kind of rounding error. Yeah, so okay, so I'm good there. I don't have to save anything. I didn't change any grades. So I'm just looking through this. So it looks like they got, so the student here got 1.2. That's near a 65 for this question, because they're kind of close, but they're over, right? The student right here is kind of way over, right? This is an acceptable figure for the whole. But it's not the amount of interest paid. So that's the idea of what's going on here. So I'm looking for those zeros. So the student has resubmitted. So I'm not going to bore you with me going through the actual grading process, but I wanted to give you an idea of what that is. I'm looking for students' answers that are less than 2 that may be now correct and they weren't before, right? So the student has resubmitted. Since I'm not seeing what the student changed, I actually am going to go into the individual section, right? I'm going to click on the individual section. I think she was number 8 here, right? She was responsive. She was the last response given, and I can see here that the response has been modified. So when I went to the individual tab, I can see which students have modified their responses, right? So, oh, the student made updates after I already gave them their grade. This student did, and then this student did not. All right. So these last three forms potentially have different answers. So I'm going to actually go more carefully through the questions when I can focus a little more and put a little more attention on what the responses were. So I'm just going to be looking for this student resubmitted, and now I'm looking for anything that got less than a 2, and say, hey, have they improved their answer any? All right, so that's basically what that is. And once I'm done, and I don't want to click on this, because I haven't graded it, I don't know if I want to do this. Oh, sure, I will do it. What the heck? You want, after you've done grading with all these, after you've gone through all your questions, right? This particular assignment has 11 questions. After you've graded each question and you've saved your grades, then you want to either go to individual and release score, or summary, and there's a release scores, okay? Clicking on this, if I click on send emails and release, what this will do is send an email to the Gmail of every single student that completed this assignment with all that feedback, with their grade on this assignment. So it's like turning it back in Google Classroom, returning the work back to them in Google Classroom. And then once I have sent those emails and released, I go back into Google Classroom, I click on import grades, import, and I don't see anything in green happen. Okay, so, and then if I had changed any grades, they would be in green, right? If I had changed any grades, they would be in green, and then I would then return that new green grade to them, and then I'll eventually have to manually transfer the grades from Google Classroom into PowerSchool. I still haven't found a good way to automatically do that, but so that's the idea of grading a resubmission in Google Classroom, right? You're gonna click on your Google form, click on the pencil to edit, go to the response tab, go to the response tab, and for the most part, if you want the summary tab that you get initially, gives you an idea of where the class is at as a whole, which is this is the power of the formative assessment kind of data that Google Forms gives you that you wouldn't see on a paper worksheet, for instance. And even your grade book only gives you the individual scores per assignment. It doesn't give you the idea of being able to look at it per question, right? And then usually when I grade, I click on question. The first question is their name, so I don't need to grade that one. There's 0 points for that question, and then the rest of these I'm just going to go through, and I'm looking to see which ones have full credit. Full credit gets a green arrow, and then for me, a blank is a 1, and then a student that doesn't actually give me anything gets that best of 50, and then they can try to improve it from there. And they've at least got it, and they actually have to do the work to bring it at least up to a 65, right? It's not like they don't have to do anything there. So where are we? So yeah, I'm just looking through, and I'm just going to have to go look carefully. I've not seen any changes that blow me away yet. Did that student? No, that's just still a rounding. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. That's the summary. That's how to grade a resubmission using Google Forms.